you find out the program guidelines, are you going to come back to council and say, what should we do? What should we submit? That's my concern.
I have never and don't anticipate that the administration is going to make a decision on what projects to apply for in a bubble. We have never not informed the council of what we're going to apply for. I don't know what, to me, that's a question that's, by experience, is a silly question. It would be unimaginable for me to sit here and say, we're going to submit 10 projects and not tell the city council. Of course we're going to come back. If there's any, understand something, if there's any match required in any of these projects, the city code requires any match over $25,000. We have to come back to the council and get authorized before we apply for anything.
Okay, I hate for that to be a silly question, but I was concerned, being that things happen so quickly. I mean, you had 2 days before we saw a copy of this, which I never had.
In all fairness.
Well, let me finish. You'll have your opportunity. We got 2 days before we were supposed to comment on this, and I personally didn't see any instructions to comment on it. But the turnaround was very quickly without having an opportunity to comment on it. So I just want to make sure that when you have the criteria, we'll have an opportunity to discuss the projects, the categories, and detail.
In all fairness to the staff, we didn't create the timetable.
I didn't say that.
We didn't. If I'm going to be required to put at the end of every memo I sent to council, please give me your comments if you have any, it's sort of understood. I just want to, in fairness, I did not receive one phone call about the stimulus package from a member of council from December 29th until I was on vacation and I got called by the newspaper. That's the first time I heard a council concern or comment on any of this. And maybe we weren't clear enough into saying that this was a wish list, that this was not a final application, but we were fairly clear in saying we're putting together a list of projects that we may want to apply for economic stimulus money for. And, you know, I can't sit here and tell you that if you read this package on the night that you got it or the next day and had a concern about what was in here or the priority, you could have called, emailed, or told us. I didn't know at the time that we submitted it when we were going to have to send it in. We sent it to the council as quickly as we could when we finished it. It wasn't us that determined when the package was to be submitted. And the fact of the matter is, we always come back before we apply for any grant of any size. The council people that have been here for a number of years can help me on this if they wish to. We always come back and say, we need authorization to apply for this. It's unbelievable to me that anybody would think that a staff, administrative staff, is going to sit here and apply for $80 million worth of projects and not come to the council first. It's beyond my comprehension.
I'm sure the public wants to know how we plan on using their tax dollars overall. It is their tax dollars. And if we're going into debt, it's their grandchildren's tax money. But I'm sure they want to know how it's being spent. That's
well, to simply answer your question, the council will certainly have the opportunity to sign off on any final project that final program that we apply for. As if I suspect there may be some match involved in some of these funds, we have no choice anyway. Okay. The code is clear. Anything with a $25,000 or more match, the council has to authorize. I apologize if people felt that they didn't have an opportunity to comment, but I didn't control the timetable. You know, we were at the behest of what the state asked us to do, and we submitted it when we were asked to submit it, and you know, that's what we did. You're asking me something that I can't answer, and that's the reason this whole issue is somewhat blown out of proportion. This list was developed just to get us ready to put projects forward when we know how and when they should be put forward. The point of all this is that this is an ongoing, flowing process. We haven't applied for anything yet. So this idea that's been spread out there that we've developed a priority list and it's set in stone and it's in and that's it is far from the truth. That was this supposed, which has been morphed into through certain media and internet outlets as the revised or second list. It's not a second list. It's a breakdown of the original list, just it was suggested that they be sent in at in a different format. The problem with this is that these projects are all going to be, the money is all going to be distributed through different state agencies. And each agency has a different process that we don't even know how it's going to be developed yet. So we haven't, as far as I know, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, we haven't formally really applied for anything. All we've done is create a wish list that includes projects. We haven't really submitted anything except a wish list. This has been, through the media, for whatever reason, turned into this controversial issue over a final list that doesn't exist. It has never existed. It's a wish list, and we were acting at the behest and the recommendation of the governor's office, who has told us that the state is going to implement these funds. This was submitted, understand something, this list that's been defined as the final list was submitted to the state before the stimulus package was passed. It wasn't even passed. It was submitted on February 13th. It wasn't passed until February 16th. So there's still a lot of ways to go on this. Now, there was no covert attempt to keep people uninformed, to do anything other than put a list together to put us in the best position to try to move forward when the time is right. And that's what this has been morphed into, which is the furthest thing from the truth. Let me go through the process. First off, there is no final list.